Nick, you will not be a term of a critic until you review to finish humor of a time, the artist.
Hello and welcome to my review of The Artist, the Best Picture winner, starring Jean Dujardin, Bernice Bejo, and John Goodman. And that is how you do a fake, stereotypical French accent, Steve Martin. Alright, The Artist, the last big movie I have to review from 2011 so I can finally fully focus on 2012. Now, I had high expectations going into this movie because it's won the top prize of the Oscars. It won Best Picture. It beat Hugo. It beat Moneyball. It beat The Descendants. It beat The Muppets. How could this film be better than any of those? And honestly, it's not. But hold your comments. I'm not saying this is a bad movie. Because I know one guy is starting to say, "How could you see this? It's just a great..." No. Okay, first of all, I'm done with the French accent. And second of all, I'm going to tell you what this movie's about. And third of all, I'm going to tell you why I like this movie not as much as everybody else seems to. Okay, so The Artist takes place toward the end of the silent film era, the late 20s, and centers on a silent film star, George Valentine, who's being completely outmatched by the talkies, or the talking films that are coming into popularity. And the main star of those is Pepe Miller, played by Bernice Bejo, who has a great affection for George. And essentially the rest of the movie is him dealing with this, and the movie uses the silent film format to kind of be a manifestation of George's whole popularity being washed away. Alright, so here's my opinion on The Artist, people. I like the movie. It's a silent film, and we haven't seen one of those in ages. And it's a nice thing to watch because it gives you a nice perspective of what movies were like back then, and it's a nice way to tell a story. However, it's empty. I'm sorry, it's kind of a hollow story when you really come down to it. And no amount of this silent film gimmick can really save it. It can certainly help, as the film is extremely well made and has great qualities, but it's just not up to the caliber that I feel that a Best Picture winner should be. But let's start out with the good stuff, as I typically do. The performances in this movie are rock solid. We have Jean Dujardin in the lead role, and this guy is absolutely fantastic. He uses his face in so many ways in this film, even though this film is silent, and you can't hear a word this guy's saying. Every emotion this guy's feeling is completely just overcast upon you just by looking at this man's face, and there are very few actors who can pull that off. Not to mention the guy has a killer smile and he kind of draws you in. All the other actors do superb jobs as well, maybe not as good as Dujardin, but we have Bernice Bejo, John Goodman, James Cromwell, all doing very solid work, but it's mainly Dujardin who steals the show. Also, I really like the use of the silent movie format for certain aspects of it. Like, I really like how the movie has to kind of raise and lower its emotional stakes with the music. I really liked how that worked because the music just has a great variety. It's always nice to listen to, all that good stuff. And also, the black and white cinematography in this film, because this is really a film that relies on imagery, and there are just some brilliant images in this film that are going to stick with you for quite some time. There are definitely some scenes in here that on a cinematography level could go down as being one of the all-time greats. And also, this film has one of the most entertaining dogs ever put on screen, and just for that, it gets a couple extra points. Unfortunately, I didn't connect with the story being told as much as some other people did. I feel like it was just, the characters, despite being very well acted, were emptily written. And I realize that in a silent film, you obviously can't have a superb intellectual writing because you can't have them speak. But that's the problem. They just seem like caricatures. Very well acted caricatures, but caricatures nevertheless. Also, I just had a hard time getting invested in the story of this thing. It just felt kind of lackluster to me. It was very slow moving, and I just found myself drifting off all the time during this movie. And the thing is that the thing that also makes me a little mad that this movie won Best Picture is that I love the fact that this movie's paying a homage to old Hollywood. I really, truly do. However, this movie feels like it's paying homage to Hollywood on kind of a more, we're trying to be intellectual level. But the movie that it was running for Best Picture against, Hugo, was made on a level of we love film and we want to make a homage to film. And that's the movie that I'm sorry, Hugo rings more true, because although it's using modern technology, although it's using 3D, the story and the characters and the homages to film are just more powerful. Overall, The Artist, don't get me wrong, guys, is a good film. You should go check it out, especially if you like solid film. It's very, very well put together and has really solid acting. Unfortunately, it just didn't connect with me on a story or emotional level, really, so I can only really give it a 3 out of 4. And that was my review of The Artist. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe to my channel, and until next time, I'm Movie Kid Mike, making sure your time is worth your money.